Alright, what's going on, everybody? Quancredible here, bringing you the review for Four Nights of the Apocalypse Chapter 9. In this chapter, so like a lot of the stuff I said for my predictions for Nansen and Dolores was kind of correct. Like some things were spot on, but other things were a little bit different, so I am kind of excited about that. I'll get to that when we get to their backstory. But so far in the beginning of the chapter, it's right where Percival, like, because if you remember back at the end of the last chapter, he drank whatever drug Nansen's was mixing up, and then he like kind of passed out, or kind of really fell out. He didn't really pass out, I guess. And after that, Nansen's is really confused because, like, as we can kind of tell from how he is, it seems like he doesn't really trust people all like that. So for Percival to like just blindly trust him and just drink this drug, without really knowing what it could or could not do, really shocked Nansen. And you can kind of see this is where like Percival's actions are going to have an effect on Nansen's. Like this is probably where he's going to have that like unshakable trust that side characters typically have in the main character. Definitely, there's nothing wrong with that. But yeah, Percival gets up, and essentially all this drink did was just, despite it being extremely bitter, it like energized him. So I guess he has a bunch more energy. So I don't think it's gonna have any type of crazy side effect, which is, that's fine. From here, Percival runs out and he shouts into the gorge, and this essentially is what will like kind of lead Sin and Donnie and Dolores and the rest of the fairies over to where they are. And it's at this moment that Nansen also drinks the drug, and then he falls out. And this is where we get into the backstory of his character. It's kind of weird because when I was first reading it, I thought that Nansen's was saying this, but I kind of guess it's just like a narrator's voice, not necessarily any one particular character's voice. So basically, there's this old apothecary named Ordo. I'm assuming that's how you say his name. I could be wrong, but yes, basically, old apothecary named Ordo. He was a really nice dude. Would constantly make up medicines and stuff for fairies, and he even found a giant girl that would be Dolores, obviously, that he even cared for like family, as well as he found Nansen's in the gorge when he was a baby and raised him like a grandson. And I predicted something very similar to this in my last review, where there could have possibly been a family that found Dolores and raised her, and then her and Nansen grew up together. So basically what I said, it happened exactly. The only mild difference is that he found Dolores first and then also found Nansen, so it's not like he was also, like, it's not like he was born there, he just was found too. So yeah, them growing up having this kind of sibling relationship basically is what's going on here, or like what went down in their backstory. And Ordo even was the one to kind of give the foundation or the basis of Nansen's apothecary skills or alchemist skills, whatever you want to call them. Now, one thing that is kind of strange to me about their backstory is that there was fairies involved in this backstory. So obviously some of these fairies would have to remember Nansen's. Like, they would have to remember that Ordo cared for Nansen's and like raised him. So like the fact that they see him as like a demon child or like a demon or someone who's causing all this just seems really odd to me. Like, it feels that that's the only part about this backstory that is just weird. Like, I don't get why they would see him as a villain. I mean, he is creepy and he looks kind of mean, I guess, but like, other than that, they should know, just like Dolores, that he's not a bad person at heart. I mean, granted, yes, obviously she was raised with him, but I feel like some of the fairies should at least know instead of all of them kind of hating him. But essentially, as soon as Nansen wakes up, he's greeted by tons of rocks to the face because, all the other fairies have found out where they are as well. And it's kind of cool because Percival steps in to like stop him from getting hit with rocks. Like, he catches them out of midair, and this is definitely like, it's like you can really see it. This is setting the like groundwork for those two. Like, they're going to be friends. Like, they're gonna, like, it seems very likely that Nansen's is going to join Percival's group, and I'll even get more into it after this. But it's at this moment that we see that the gorge is kind of dying. Like, the animals are starting to wither away, the plants are starting to wither away, and I guess this is what Nansen's was making the drug for, was to save the gorge, as he said. And then we also here get to see Nansen's magic, which is actually a really neat kind of magic. Essentially, any poison that he ingests, he teaches it to his body, and then he can recreate it or mix it or, alter it to a degree, I'm sure, which is just a really neat ability. Honestly, any type of apothecary or alchemist or like these kind of abilities always seem to be really cool. And this also explains how he was able to do what he was able to do in the last chapter. It wasn't like he actually coated his blades with poison, but he used his magic to coat his blades in poison, which explains why Percival was confused on what exactly was going on when he was fighting him. And then it's at this moment that he uses, the concoction that he made, and like uses this ability called Misty Rain and scatters it out throughout the gorge. This is also really funny to me. I don't think this was supposed to be funny, but like he tells everybody to close their mouths and then he sprays it out, and then literally, like once it starts taking effect, Donnie just he shouts and opens up his mouth. I'm just like,
stupid.
You like he literally told you he told everybody to close their mouths. Like why? Like Donnie, come on now. Like what is going on? I just thought it was really funny because it's literally like he tells everybody to close their mouth, shoots it out, and then Donnie just like opens his mouth immediately. I'm just like, bro. But he shoots it out, and it is revitalizing the forest. And then him and Percival share a moment where Percival just hopes that he can see his granddad again. And then we get the fairy that we had last chapter. And I don't know I don't even know if this is actually a fairy anymore. And he seems to be scheming something, and he's even about to release this monster, and it has the same name as Ordo, like his name is Ordo, and it looks like he's about to unleash it on the gorge. Now I have a lot of things to say about this. I kind of think this could either be connected to Arthur and what he's doing, or this could be totally something on the aside. But basically what I think happened to the gorge is because we've seen in the flashback that Ordo's jacket was left there when he kind of vanished. So I think whatever happened to Ordo, also it was slowly happening to the forest. Like there could have been some type of disease or some type of magic that changed Ordo, and then it also started to affect the like plants and animals of the forest, because I'm assuming it wasn't always like this from how Dolores and Nansen's seem to remember it, or how they talk about it, or the fact that Nansen's even wanted to save it in the first place would make me believe that it wasn't always an extremely dangerous place, and that whatever happened to Ordo more than likely happened to them. I will say overall this chapter was pretty decent. Like it was like a nice conclusion of everything that happened. It's definitely not looking good for the people that think that these two are King and Diane's kids. Obviously Nansen's could no way possibly be their child since he's a human. I understand people could still think that Dolores could be King and Diane's child, but it's like it's not looking good, honestly. This is even in the manga, it really does look similar to the old Dolores. It's one of those things where like it's not deconfirmed, but it's basically it's basically there. Like if you still want to believe it, it's total on you. I'm not gonna bash or anything, but it's basically there. All in all, I give this chapter like a 6.5. I mean, there was a lot of cool stuff, but it didn't have that. It didn't have that like super hype factor for me. So I am curious to know how you guys felt about the chapter down below. As well as I want to know what you guys think is up with this like Ordo monster. I don't really think it's a demon. I kind of think it's more of a chaos beast type thing that could have been caused by Arthur's effect on the world. But we'll just have to wait and see for next week. So like I was saying, let me know down below how you guys felt about the chapter. Do you guys think Nansen is going to join the group? I really hope he does. Aside from that, make sure you guys like the video as well as subscribe to the channel for more Four Nights of Apocalypse content. You guys enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you all in my next video.